Good morning, everyone. My name is Nicholas Ashley Joyce Haputro, and today I will be discussing the impacts of consumption taxes, tariffs, and generative AI on the economy, with a behavioral economics perspective on food choices at the end. Let's dive in and starting with the impact of consumption taxes. Impact of consumption taxes on consumers and producer surplus and deadweight loss. As you can see on figure 1, which is demand and supply before consumption tax. In figure 1, we have the demand and supply curves before any consumption tax is imposed. You can see that both consumers and producers enjoy surplus. These are the shaded areas representing the benefits each group gains from market transactions. The tax burden on consumers shifts the demand curve to the left. As a result, consumers pay a higher price and their surplus decreases, while producers receive less revenue. Both consumers and producers will now have to pay part of the tax, which impacts overall welfare. Moving on to the second figure, which is demand and supply after consumption tax. In figure 2, the introduction of a consumption tax leads to a decrease in both consumer and producer surplus. Deadweight loss appears as a result of the reduction in economic welfare due to the tax. Consumers pay more for goods, and producers receive less, leading to inefficiencies. This shows that taxes reduce market efficiency and harm both producers and consumers. Moving on to the next slide, which is impact of tariffs on consumers and producer surplus and deadweight loss. Now let's take a look at impact of tariffs. So figure 3, which is demand and supply with free trade. Figure 3 represents a market under free trade. Consumers benefit from lower prices due to imports, and there is a large consumer surplus as a result. Tariffs, however, increase the price of imports, which we see in figure 4. So, when the price rises, consumers either have to pay more or buy less, leading to a reduction in consumer surplus. Domestic producers benefit because they face less competition from imports, increasing their surplus. However, the downside is deadweight loss due to less efficient trades happening at higher prices. The government also collects tariff revenue, represented by the rectangle in figure 4, but this doesn't offset the overall inefficiency introduced by tariffs. Next up is how generative AI could affect inequality in the labor market. So, diving on with the first scenario, which is generative AI reduces inequality. In scenario 1, we see that AI could reduce inequality by enhancing access to high quality jobs. AI allows workers to access more skills and information, leveling the playing field for those with less initial experience. As more workers gain skills, there is an increase in the supply of high skilled labor, which shifts the labor supply curve to the right. Wages for high skilled workers rise, and the overall supply of skilled labor increases, reducing inequality. This could help solve shortages in high skilled occupations and narrow pay gaps across job categories. Moving on to the second scenario, which is generative AI increases inequality. As AI automates repetitive tasks, the demand for low skilled labor declines, leading to a leftward shift in the demand curve for low skilled jobs. This leads to lower wages and fewer jobs opportunities for workers in lower skilled positions, which exacerbates the inequality. Many administrative and support jobs are replaced by AI, while more technical and skilled positions remain unaffected. Additionally, there is evidence that more demanding positions may shrink due to AI replacing entry-level roles, creating a larger gap between high and low income workers. So this scenario warns us about the risk of deepening inequality if AI is not managed carefully. Moving on to the next one, how generative AI could affect productivity and output in the economy. The first scenario, which is where generative AI boosts productivity. Scenario 1 demonstrates how AI could increase productivity and lead to long-term economic growth. In the graph, both the short-run aggregate supply, which is also known as SRAS, and long-run aggregate supply, which is known for LRAS, curves shift to the right, signaling that firms are now able to produce more with greater efficiency. This leads in higher real GDP, as AI enhances capital productivity, human capital, and technological endowment. The integration of AI into the economy can improve resource utilization, output, and innovation, driving sustainable economic growth. Hopping on to the second scenario, where generative AI leaves productivity largely unchanged. In this demand curve, in this scenario, the demand curve shifts left, signaling a reduction in aggregate demand. The SRAS and LRAS curves remain unchanged, reflecting the idea that AI may not significantly enhance productivity in certain sectors, particularly where jobs cannot be automated or technological integration is low. Consequently, real GDP does not rise, and the economy faces stagnation with limited growth and productivity. Moving on, how behavioral economics can be used to understand why people choose unhealthy food options. Finally, let's talk about the behavioral economics, and why people often choose unhealthy food options, even when they know healthier choices are better. So there are several factors. The first one is status quo bias. People tend to stick with familiar habits, even though even though eating healthy food is beneficial. Individuals often revert to junk food because it's what they're used to, reinforcing unhealthy habits. The second one is present bias. Many individuals prioritize immediate gratification, choosing the taste and enjoyment of junk food over the long-term benefits of healthy eating. The third one is framing effect. The way food is presented influences our choices. Junk food is often framed as convenient, luxurious, or even time-saving, making it more appealing even if people know it is still unhealthy. The last one, which is bounded rationality. People make decisions with limited time and information. They might not take the time to compare nutritional informations or prepare healthier meals, leading them to opt for easier, less healthy options. So, to wrap it all up, we've explored how taxes, tariffs, and AI impact economic welfare, productivity, and inequality, and also how behavioral economics helps us understand consumer choices. Taxes and tariffs often lead to inefficiency, while AI presents both opportunities and risks for labor markets and economic growth. Understanding these dynamics is crucial for policymakers to ensure optimal economic outcomes. So, thank you for your attention, and I welcome if there's any questions. Thank you for your time.